Now, John asked me about choosing a martial arts style. How do people choose a style that's right for them? Basically, there's two basic kinds of martial arts. We got grappling, which means any kind of wrestling or judo. And then you've got striking, which could be stand-up striking, punching, kicking, elbows, and knees. And I think we also need to say there's some other major branches of martial art. We could say there's what they call traditional martial art, which would be things like karate, and you're going to do forms, or kung fu, where there's forms involved. And then there's combat martial arts, or reality fighting martial arts, which are just about learning to fight. So you need to decide, I think, first thing is, do you want to fight? Is that really your goal, or do you have some other interest in martial art? Because martial art can teach you physical discipline, mental discipline, can bring your spirit in alignment, can make you happy, can help you lose weight, and you learn to defend yourself. And if that's your goal, and I think for 90% of people, that's the direction they should go in, more of a traditional martial art direction. And if you're going to do that, there's a million traditional martial arts out there. Taekwondo and karate are the two most common. Taekwondo, you're going to learn a lot of very high, beautiful kicks. You're going to learn forms. Karate, you're going to learn forms. You're going to get to break bricks and stones, if you like doing that. I don't. Then the other direction you go is the combat arts. You could learn boxing, you could learn Muay Thai or kickboxing, and then MMA, which is mixed martial arts. And that generally, by definition, it means striking combined with wrestling, but what really winds up happening is generally it's Muay Thai combined with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, which is a kind of ground fighting technique. And I had some MMA people recently write me, they're like, oh, it's not true that we're all doing Muay Thai with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. A lot of us are doing kickboxing mixed with wrestling. I'm like, okay, yes, you're right. They also do kickboxing mixed with wrestling. But anyway, so when you're choosing a martial art, do you want to fight? Do you not want to fight? What do you want to get out of it? You have to decide what you want to get out of it. Before you get in the car and start to drive, you need to decide where you want to go. If your goal is fitness, if your goal is health, probably you don't need to be in a mixed martial arts gym, or you don't need to be doing Muay Thai. Muay Thai is painful. I mean, look at this, look at my elbows here. They're all scarred up. My shins are always hurt. My hands are always hurt. And now I'm training without gloves, just trying to build up my hands even more. And a lot of people don't want to do that, and that's absolutely fine, and you can get fit by doing something else. You can learn martial art by doing something else. Okay, people talk about studying multiple styles. Is it good? Is it bad to study multiple styles? The answer is this. If your goal is to be a Hapkido master, then you need to study only Hapkido, and when you go to competition, you can only do Hapkido stuff. If you do stuff that comes from another martial art, that's going to be considered wrong, because it's not Hapkido. You're being tested on your ability to do Hapkido, and I'm just picking Hapkido as an example. Please forgive me, Hapkido people. The same is true for karate, any traditional martial art. So if that's your goal, you need to do it that way. So when I was in Korea training, they asked me, they go, oh, what do you see as the weak point of Taekwondo? And I go, well, you guys can't punch at all. They go, oh, but we're starting to. And I said, no, you're not starting to. The art of Taekwondo is the art of Taekwondo. It will not change. If you're introducing punches or if you're introducing boxing into your Taekwondo school, that's not Taekwondo anymore. Now you're doing something else. And that's all you're telling me is that you've changed, you're doing something else. So if you just want to do one thing, you need to do only that one thing. But if your goal is to learn martial art, to learn about fighting, to learn about martial arts, to learn about cultures, the way people approach problems, the way people solve problems, the way people overcome adversity, then you need to study a variety of arts. And right off the bat, if you studied only Western boxing, that's great, but then you don't know how to kick. If you did Muay Thai, then you can box and you can kick and use elbows, but you don't know how to fight on the ground. So if you did only Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you know very well how to fight on the ground, but you don't know how to kick and punch so well. If you do Western wrestling, you're really good at shoot. When they shoot in and take the guy down. I mean, that thing's amazing, or the suplex or something. And so every martial art has its advantage. And then some people like to do weapons, and I haven't even talked about that. If you want to learn weapons, Taekwondo is not the way to go. The Filipino martial arts, like arnis, you know, we're learning stick fighting, you're learning kali with knives or something. So yes, I think you should definitely study a variety of martial arts, get a lot of different people's opinions, but don't jump from martial art to martial art every 6 months because it got hard. I have a friend, he's got like yellow belts and orange belts and this and that in various martial arts, and I just think, what are you doing? All that tells me is that he quit. That's quitting. That's not broadening your horizons, increasing your knowledge. That's just quitting. You know. And the other question John asked me was about picking a master, picking a school. Now, my experience in Asia has been the less you pay for it, the realer it is. I've paid for less than probably 20% of my training in Asia. And that set a precedent for me that when I go and the first thing the master talks about is a payment plan, then I think, all right, well, you're not really a master. You know, what do you know? If you're in the States or Canada or Australia and you're looking for a master, just go in and see if you feel comfortable with the place. You have to feel comfortable with it. You have to like it. And the fact that the guy likes himself doesn't really or shouldn't really affect your decision making. Yeah, he likes himself. Everybody likes himself. If he gets a bunch of his students up to demonstrate, and one by one his students dutifully hold their hand up and he kung fu's them and knocks them down, you know, it's like he's doing that to impress you. He's knocking his students down. I don't know what he's doing. So look for someone who's got a good heart. Look at the heart. Just like you would if you were going to date somebody or if you were going to, you know, accept a job, working with this guy, whatever. Like, you just really have to evaluate who is this person and can I learn from him. And I train with masters who, you know, one of the guy who owns this gym where I am right now, I mean, he's old. He doesn't know how to train people anymore, but I respect him so much and I listen to him and I enjoy hearing from him and I still learn from him. The guy in Vietnam that I did one of my videos with, I was afraid he was going to get a broken bone while we were shooting the video. I was seriously worried that he was going to like have a heart attack and when I did CPR, it was going to break his ribcage. And yet I respect him because he knows stuff that I don't know and that you don't know, and that to bring him on the show, I was able to share that with people. So don't go in there with the attitude of, well, I can beat up the master. And if you can, good for you, but you can still learn from him. There's lots of people who could beat me up, but they've never been in the places I've been in Cambodia or Burma or Philippines, and I could definitely teach them something. They could learn something, and I could learn from them. But they can beat me up. So if that's how you want to measure these good master, bad masters, by the beating up ability, there's no point. Also, along the lines of choosing a master, choosing a style, your body's different, everybody's body's different. I have a bad knee, you know, and I tend to be overweight, and I'm over 40 years old. I will not jump. I don't do anything where I have to jump or leap. So when I went to like Vietnam to train, they had whole days where all they did was jumping in the air and doing break falls. And I thought, well, a break fall is something you learn so that if you fall down, you can, you know, make it safer. I don't know that you can be practicing this for hours and hours and hours every day because you're going to get hurt every time you're practicing it. So I refuse. Or, you know, if they want me to duck walk or I don't know, like some sort of squat jump, like I just won't do it because I got knee injuries. So you have to decide what you can and cannot do, what you will and will not do. If you're overweight, something like Taekwondo or karate may be the safest thing for you because, you know, doing forms, you're going to get a lot of exercise, but without the impact, you're not going to get injured, and that might be the best thing for you. Some type of wrestling might be good for you, so that you don't have to stand up as much, you know, like if you go to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu workouts, you do a lot of things where they're like crawling on the floor, and it's very good for your muscles, but meanwhile you're not getting a lot of impact, you're not bouncing up and down. That may be good for you. So you just decide what works for you and you do that.